Hi everyone, and welcome back to that time of the week where we try not to add games to our backlog. Now, in fairness, before the Black Friday sales begin, you tend to see a lot of the bigger titles removed from the eShop. It makes these videos a little bit more tricky, but probably a little bit more enjoyable because you really have to dig through and find some decent deals. I found a few, including a couple of physicals actually, that have already gone on their Black Friday discounts. And certainly for the kids pick and the hidden gem, I think I've managed to dig out something worthwhile. You might as well save yourself 10% on any of the eShop deals using code SwitchUp over at switchup.gg, and we also have pre-orders for Pokemon over there as well. Oh, and yeah, we are giving away a Switch OLED and game at Christmas during our 12 days of SwitchUp. You don't need to do anything special, no fancy stuff, no talking about Savaloys. Just check those videos out when they come out. What are the best games on sale this week? Well, my name's Mark Walker. Welcome back to SwitchUp. Let's find out. First up, you owe it to yourself to play through Golf Story before Sports Story releases. You might not like golf at all, but you really don't need to. For just £5.99, it's 56% off. Sidebar Games created an excellent RPG sports hybrid, and I think most people that play this, after kind of thinking, yeah, I'm not going to enjoy it, end up absolutely loving the world they created, with the golf mechanics actually supplementing the gameplay rather than holding it back. This one is just 1.3 gigs. It's universally loved, and it's reasonably long as well, at least 15 to 20 hours of gameplay. This episode was sponsored by Established Titles. You might be wondering, Mark, what does that say? That right there says Lord Mark Walker. Because this certificate basically is a plot in Scotland on an estate there, and it gives me the right to be the lord of my own land. Established Titles is a fun and novel way to preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland while helping global reforestation efforts. It's a project based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds or lords and ladies in English. When you buy a title pack, they give you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land with a unique plot number on a private estate in Edelston in Scotland. And obviously you'll get your official certificate so that everyone in your household knows exactly who you are. You could officially include the title of Lord or Lady on your credit card or plane tickets. It makes an amazing last minute gift. Established Titles is actually running a massive Black Friday sale right now. Plus, if you use the code LordSwitchUp, you get an additional 10% off. For the first 200 of you who click my link that's down in the description, you'll get to have your plot right next to mine so that we can literally start the SwitchUp kingdom and be lords and ladies together. Go to establishedtitles.com/LordSwitchUp to get your gifts now and help support the channel. This is another reminder not to sleep on Eastward. It's currently 40% off, down to £13.19. That's the cheapest it's ever been until November the 17th. It's got one of the highest scores I've ever given out on the channel, and it's developed by Pixpil and published by Chucklefish, and it's a lovely action adventure from the top-down perspective featuring Sam and John, with some dungeons that basically see you swapping between the two characters, as Sam has some unusual powers, shall we say, that enable her to freeze the enemy, while John has a frying pan and a flamethrower. Really nice games and some lovely areas. A bit slow at times, and it does drag a little bit at the end, but the overall package and the way they've set it up for a sequel, yeah, I'm well looking forward to the next one, that's for sure. This one's 1.7 gigs, and although the stated time is 20 to 30 hours, I spent 80 hours on my first playthrough, and I'm not entirely sure how I did it. Both of the games so far do have a physical edition as well, so potentially keep your eye out for that if that's the way you like to shop. Somewhere out there in the vagaries of space-time, there is a 10-year-old version of me playing Beneath a Steel Sky on the Amiga. But here we are, many, many years later, and Beyond a Steel Sky came out from Revolution Software and was published by Microids, meaning yes, there's a physical of this as well. They brought Robert Foster into the 21st century with some fully 3D graphics, but it's still voiced by the same guy. You've still got Joey, and there are so many nods back to the original game. It's well worth it if you're a fan, with some lovely artwork as well, produced by the Watchmen artist Dave Gibbons. As far as gameplay goes, it's not the best adventure game ever, but it's decent, and at a very reduced price as it is right now, £13.99, 60% off, you could do a lot worse. It's around 10 hours long.
Then we've got a physical release, and it's Persona 5 Royal. I am now 30 hours into this and just loving it. It's the same little routine every evening. Sit down in bed, play a bit of this, and then go to sleep. I say play a bit, it's usually like 3 hours. But it's currently 30% off at Amazon here in the UK, which is a surprisingly good discount, seeing as it's only just come out. And while it's UK only at the moment, it would be worth keeping your eye on your Amazons in your respective regions, as they usually spread across. And at 30% off right now, that's very good. If you want to check out our performance review of this one, I'll pop a link to that in the description. The Cotton Reboot, which Glen reviewed for us on the channel, that's currently, its cheapest ever price, 60% off, but it's also got 43% off if you want to buy the physical on Amazon, which is an absolute bargain. Now, this HD reboot improved in many ways upon the original game, but the gameplay still holds up. It might not look amazing, but you've essentially got like a side-scrolling shooter that can be brutally difficult, featuring those Cotton characters, and it's been universally praised across reviewers, although not many people have looked into it. If you're a fan of shooters, you'll really enjoy this one. It's very quirky, with one of those soundtracks that will just get into your ear and won't leave you. That sale goes on until November the 27th. Another physical sale again here in the UK that has to be mentioned. It's Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and between that and Persona 5, probably my two favourite games of the year, although no spoilers for the best games of the year list. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is incredible, incredibly well built action RPG, and 26% off, taking it down to £36.99. That's the cheapest it's ever been here in the UK. It's well worth it and a really good Christmas pickup. There's always that question, do you need to have played the other games? The answer is you don't need to have done. You should. You should, but you don't need to have done at all. In fact, I hadn't finished the second one when I started this, and it didn't hinder me too much, or at least it didn't seem to. I know that's probably sacrilege to some people.
Common destiny. They'll hunt you constantly, relentlessly, without rest. There's one place that might give you a chance. Sword March. Our city.
For many of you, Blasphemous would have been one of those games. It's always on sale. You probably picked it up already. You probably really enjoyed it and moved on. But there's got to be a few people out there that haven't played it yet. It's just £4.99 at the moment, which matches the cheapest it's ever been. And undoubtedly, it will go on sale again. But if you're after a tough-as-nails Souls-like that has a very distinct art style, then this one from the Game Kitchen is worth your attention. Now, I believe they're working on a sequel. I can't remember if I just dreamt that or if I actually got told that by someone and told never to speak of it. Either way, I've caused an issue there. But at the moment, at just £4.99, 75% off, and the price of what? A small donner? You wouldn't even get the chips for that. You really can't go far wrong. Now, Glen did a full review of this one, and he notoriously does not like Souls-likes, but he did a really good job and ended up quite enjoying it, and I think it will take around 15 to 20 hours for most people to complete. Now, that sale goes on, as I say, until November the 16th. On to the last three, we've got the Ninja Saviors, Return of the Warriors. For a second there, I almost started saying, Warriors, come out to play. And if you know what that is, you got a good taste. If you don't, yeah. It's essentially a beat 'em up here that's very much in the Final Fight model. Unfortunately for it, it released at a time when there were a lot of great beat 'em ups coming out, and it got to some degree kind of swept under the rug, I guess. It's only got 2-player, so it doesn't feature the 4-player, but to be honest, I struggled just finding 2 people to play with half the time, and it's only 669 megs. If you're after a decent beat 'em up, then this would be a nice little one to play through, and it does have a physical copy as well, which you can usually find for quite cheap. That sale goes on until November the 27th. Nice little single player kids pick adventure then. And no, you don't have to be a kid to enjoy it, but it's one that my daughter really enjoys. It's Marsupilami Hoob Adventure. I said that completely wrong. It's £13.99, 60% off, and developed by Oculus. It is a very colourful, side-scrolling action-adventure platformer that spans 3 different worlds and has 20 levels. It was actually Glen that recommended this one in one of our videos, so I checked it out while it was on sale, and yeah, not bad at all. Not the greatest, doesn't do anything particularly new with the genre, but a decent little platformer that's not stupidly easy. The hidden gem this week is a little game called Omno. I think it was someone on Twitter was like, hey, you should check this out. This actually looks decent. And I played through just for my own personal pleasure. Never really spoke much about it, but it's not bad at all. It kind of reminds me of things like Journey, but there's a bit more puzzling in there. It takes place in a number of ethereal worlds with some basic platforming, some really cool creatures. Like there's this giant turtle thing. And I just liked the shift between the different environments. The fluidity of animation as well is quite impressive for the small, small developer. And at what, £4.49? You wouldn't get a pub lunch for that. Certainly not a carvery. So I think it's well worth it. Although it does finish on November the 15th. So if you're interested in picking it up at its cheapest ever price, which you should be if you like this style of game, then be very swift about it. Now it's only short. If you're after something you can complete quickly, you're looking at about 4 or 5 hours, and the job's a good one. Here's a few that are still on sale from last week's episode. We've got Space Tale, which is a Metroidvania featuring a dog, and it's great. Really good game. That's 30% off and ends on December the 3rd. Deadcraft is 40% off. This comes from Marvelous. It's essentially a farming sim, but rather than concentrating on growing plants, fruits and veg, you spend your time growing zombies, which you can then use to fight with you. And it has a full storyline that's actually pretty decent after you get expelled from the lofty town and have to work your way back up again. Or for a more traditional one, you've got My Time at Portia, which is 75% off, ending November the 17th. And finally, The Serpent Rogue, which is also 40% off. I'd suggest this one probably watching the full review of it that Asdin did for us, as it's a little more nuanced than I can go into in a few seconds. And that is it for this week. Let me know in the comments what games you've been picking up. Are you waiting like I am, like a little ninja, waiting to pounce on the Black Friday deals, or the vast majority of them? I can tell you just by looking through the eShop sale for this week's episode, there are a lot of games that they're like conspicuously not on sale. In fact, there are so many that I think, a week, 2 weeks down the line, we are going to see a ridiculous sale. So yeah, keep your eye out for that one. Thanks to all of you that enjoy the content. Do save yourself 10% on any of these games using code SwitchUp over at switchup.gg to buy your eShop credit if you're in the EU or the US regions. Once again, a thanks to Established Titles for sponsoring this episode. Hopefully there'll be some fellow lords and ladies by the end of the week. All the info's in the description or the top pinned comment. I hope you have a lovely Sunday evening and a really nice Monday morning. For all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers guys. See ya!